Hello everyone, my name is Holden and welcome back to a video. It's Christmas. One of the most famous things about Christmas is snow. And of course, since you know, it's me, this video is going to be about snow in Xenoblade. Now in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there's only one place that has snow. That is the Kingdom of Tantal in the Titan Genbu. It's great snowy mountains and landscapes inside the stomach of a giant whalefish creature. But I was wondering, what would happen if Genbu just froze to death and no one was able to live there? Where would all the people of Tantal go? Well, let's find out. We are going to try to figure out where all the people of Tantal would go if something happened to Genbu. So maybe I should talk a bit more about the Titan. If you don't know, Genbu is a large Titan in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that resembles a massive tortoise. Its Titan type is pretty similar to Uriah, where all the people live inside the stomach of this Titan. However, Tantal's a little bit different. All the snow that's inside Genbu is not natural. After the Titan of Torna fell, the people of Torna decided to go to Indol, and they made a deal. Indol would let all the people live in Genbu and form the Kingdom of Tantal, as long as Tantal would use the ether that the Titan provides to refine core chips. Now, ether is something that all creatures of Alrest need to live. It's what keeps their bodies warm. However, because Tantal took so much ether away from Genbu, it got to a point where it literally just froze over and it's just covered in snow. And if this keeps going on, eventually, it gets so cold that Genbu would probably freeze to death. I mean, I don't think anything would be able to survive if its insides were just covered in snow and frozen. So what would happen if the Titan gets to a point where it freezes to death? Where would all the people of Tantal go? Well, let's find out. I'm going to be looking at every location that they could live in and see if it's possible. Now, one big thing about this is the Kingdom of Tantal wanted to kind of stay alone and quiet and, like, separated off from everyone else. So they have not had, like, any talk or communication or, like, treaties or anything with any of the other nations. So that's probably not good for them. Also, there aren't going to be any story spoilers. The only thing, I guess, would be, like, you know, the politics, like, of, like, the relationship between Tantal and Indol or Uriah and Ardain. But yeah, anyway, let's start off with the Argentum Trade Guild. Now, could they all move to the Argentum Trade Guild? I mean, maybe. The Trade Guild is pretty small, but there are multiple trade guilds around the Cloud Sea. I mean, the trade guilds are meant to house Napon and not an entire kingdom of people. But, I mean, they might be able to make it possible, I don't know. There's also another thing. The trade guilds are just a place of trade, where they, like, you know, you shop, and you could sell stuff, and it's just trading. I'm sure that the Kingdom of Tantal would want to keep their kingdom, and not, like, get rid of it. So, I mean, I don't know if Argentum would allow it if there was, like, a monarchy in their trade guilds. So, I don't think they would be able to go there. Well, now we have one that does have space. Gormott. Now, the Titan of Gormott is pretty big. It has lots of space, lots of food. Just a perfect place for people to move to if their Titan gets destroyed. Problem is, Gormott is already under the control of Ardain. And since Ardain is using Gormott for resources, I don't think they'd appreciate it if another group came along to, like, take those resources. And I mean, if Ardain technically owns the land, then I don't think they'd be pretty happy with another kingdom moving to Gormott. Maybe if, like, the Emperor is, like, really nice and wants to help, maybe. But I feel most of the time, Ardain probably wants to have full control over Gormott for, like, so it keeps the resources. And it probably wouldn't really like it if another kingdom just came in and took the place over. But then again, they could live in the forest, but there are lots of monsters there. So Gormott is kind of a maybe. Now we got the Titan of Uriah. Now, Uriah and Genbu are actually pretty similar titans. They both are, like, kind of whale, fish-like titans that, you know, that people usually live in, like, their stomachs of. And, well, maybe there's this, like, secret, like, code or whatever that similar titans will, like, help each other. Now, Tantal hasn't really had any communication with other nations, so they might need to, like, set some things out, like, set some things up first. So maybe. But then again, Uriah is also a kingdom, which means that they probably might not want another kingdom showing up. And like I said, Tantal's very pride-like, and I don't think they'd want their entire kingdom to, you know, just be, like, disbanded so they could live somewhere else. And then, of course, Uriah is kind of having, you know, political tensions with Ardain, and, you know, the threat of war is, like, huge, so Tantal likes to be quiet and avoid wars and stuff, so they might not want to go to Uriah because of the risk of war. But then again, Uriah might want them to join as, like, extra forces, because now they have, like, 2 titans against. They pretty much have the force of 2 titans against Ardain. But I don't know. Uriah's kind of another maybe. Now comes a titan that I feel is probably the least likely. Now, Ardain. There's probably space. There's definitely probably space for them to live in. However, there's lots of things wrong with Ardain. One, it's an empire. It wants full control. It's probably not gonna appreciate another political kingdom thing showing up and trying to, you know, take land there. Maybe they could make a deal, I don't know. And then, another thing. Ardain is dying. And they're already low on resources. That's why they're going to Gormott. So they might not even be able to have an entire Titan's worth of people moving there because they might just not have the resources. And then, of course, there's temperature. Tantal's a very cold Titan. And Ardain's a very warm Titan. And so the people of Tantal will pretty much be moving from a place that's facing an ice age to a place that's facing global warming. And I don't really know how well people are at adapting, but that might not be very good for them with such a sudden change. Maybe like I said with Gormott, maybe if it's like a nice emperor like Nile, they'd let him in, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. Also, Hugo forever. Now, Indal. Indal isn't really the biggest Titan, but, I mean, they have refugee camps, so they might be able to fit him in. The problem is, of all the Titans, I feel Tantal would not want to go to Indal, because Tantal's whole thing is they want to be free from any influence or any... They just don't want anything to do with Indal anymore. And that would probably not be good. And I feel Indal would want them to join, but in order for that to happen, they'd probably have, like, Amalthus have full control over the kingdom, and they probably would not want that. So I feel Tantal's a kind of a no. Temperantia. Temperantia's, Temperantia is completely empty. There's no, like, civilizations or buildings or anything there. But it's not a very good place to live. I mean, the terrain is not very great. The land and terrain is probably, like, all scarred and burnt from, like, you know, wars and stuff. And then, of course, literally the water of the Titan is poisoned. So where would they get their water sources? This is also a place where Ardain and Uriah, like, have their weapons and have their, like, battles and stuff. So I don't know if Tantal would want to be in the middle of that. And there's also all those unique monsters. There's a ton of giant dinosaur, unique monster, crazy high-leveled stuff in Temperantia. And that would probably not be a very good, like, thing to have if you want to live somewhere. I mean, Torrigoth I guess, lives just fine with a friggin' giant gorilla, but still. I feel like Temperantia would be a place that's not really hostile. I don't even think anyone could live there. Next, we have the Cliffs of Morytha. Their Titan is kind of small, so there might not be space. It's an empty Titan. If you don't know, the Cliffs of Morytha, it has like a Titan that's like a dead Titan on it that's decomposing, which is another thing. It's decomposing, so at some point the Titan is just kind of gonna be gone, and they're not gonna have any place to live. Maybe they could like go there temporarily, but it wouldn't be probably wouldn't be a very safe place. And then of course there's Ophion. Ophion is like guarding the World Tree, and they gotta deal with Ophion like floating around there. So if Ophion sees them and attacks them, these things probably are not gonna go very well. So I'm pretty sure the Cliffs of Morytha are not the best place. Now, they could try to climb the World Tree and go to Elysium. This actually could be possible, because now it is just a legend, but if true, Elysium would be a place where that could house everybody in Alrest. So, of course, it could probably fit Tantal could probably live there too. Problem is, they gotta climb the World Tree. So if they climb on the side of it, they'd have to get all those people and, like, somehow get them to climb up there. And then, of course, there's the big, like, bottomless hole surrounding it. And then there's Ophion as well they gotta, like, get past. And even if they get past that, they gotta, like, either climb the tree, which would probably be way too much, or they just go through the tree. And I guess it's kind of spoiler. I don't know. They gotta deal with all the stuff inside the World Tree, like all the machines and like enemies and all that. And you know, if you've played through the late game, you know that even if they get up there, it might not even be possible. Now, pretty much all that we've found so far, they either are physically not able to live there, or can live there, but have to deal with competing, you know, powers and stuff. Well, there is one last place I haven't mentioned yet. The Lefetherian Archipelago. Now, this is probably the location they would stay at if they had to pick one. There's plenty of space. Like, the only, like, settlements there are Fonsett and the Turkin camps. And other than that, there's just empty space, plenty of islands to live on, and there's really no political conflict. Lefetheria is just kind of on its own. There isn't really any, like, you know, empire or kingdom or anything that lives there. So they wouldn't have anybody to compete with. Yeah, technically, if they place a monarchy on, if they try to take over Lefetheria and, like, make the entire Lefetheria the new Tantal, that might be bad, because, you know, maybe, like, Ardain, when it's finished with Gormott, might want to take over Lefatheria as well, and then they'd have to deal with that. And, you know, the people of Lefatheria helped Rex when he was orphaned and, like, just showed up there. And the models for, in the cutscenes, the models for Rex's parents are Tantalese, so maybe, like, they would accept Tantal. Like, I mean, they did it before with Rex, but then again, Rex was one person who, like, he was just one kid who just lost his parents. Would they also accept an entire Titan, like, kingdom of people? I mean, there is plenty of space, so if anywhere, it probably would be here. And then again, the kingdom of Torna would be reunited. So, if you don't know, when the Titan of Torna was destroyed, there were pretty much two groups. There was the group that went with, you know, the Kingdom of Torna, the, like, you know, who, like, they're the people who, like, lived, like, in the Kingdom of Torna. They all went to Tantal. But the people who, like, followed Adam went to Lefatheria. So the people of Torna kind of just split and went into two separate areas. If they go to Lefatheria, that could be reuniting the Kingdom of Torna, which maybe even could, you know, fit and, like, would make sense to just be fate. So, yeah, if there was one place in all of Allrest that Tantal could go if Genbu froze over, it'd probably be the Lefatherian Archipelago. Because of its space and just pretty much all the problems from the past, like all the other Titans, are not a problem here. So I feel that this would be the best place. Anyway, that's really it, I guess, to the video. Merry Christmas. I hope you all enjoyed. What do you guys think? If you do think they'd go to any other Titan, I don't know. Like, let me know in the comments, stuff like that. I know this wasn't really Christmas themed, but I was thinking of making this video, and I didn't have anything planned for Christmas, so, like, you know what? This will be my Christmas video. It's got snow. Christmas is snow. And yeah, I also have a few other Xenoblade theories planned, like maybe about, you know, like the kingdom of, or the Empire of Ardain, like, heating up, whether, like, there are people who believe in that or not. And, or maybe, like, is Niall Hugo's reincarnation? I don't know. This is just all hypothetical. Maybe they would have lived somewhere else, I don't know. Maybe they would have just gone down with the Titan. But I mean, the Titan of Tantal is kind of strong. I mean, it's so far been able to live with its, like, stomach completely frozen. And I mean, it can survive a blast in the head with a laser that's apparently powerful enough to destroy the Aegis. So maybe it'd take a bit more than a little bit of cold to take down the entire Titan of Genbu. But, I mean, if they keep extracting ether, eventually it's gonna run out, so. Anyway, I'm still talking. I should just end the video. You know, I need that watch time, so subscribe, like the video if you want to, please. I want to feel good. And, you know, donation? No, I'm joking. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Yeet!